imagination is more important than knowledge. Albert Einstein said that. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution.
Yeah.
That feels like a really good starting point for our deep dive today, doesn't it?
It really does. Sets the stage nicely.
We're looking at a sector where imagination and innovation are genuinely reshaping things. India's defense industry.
Absolutely. A lot happening there.
And we're drawing heavily on a recent Financial Express article to kind of unpack how India's strategic defense moves are causing some pretty big economic ripples.
Yeah.
Especially in defense stocks.
Right.
So our mission really is to give you a clear picture of this whole transformation. Maybe you're studying for exams, like the UPSC.
Very relevant there.
Yeah,
Well,
looking for those prelims and mains insights. Or maybe you just want to understand the big currents shaping India's growth and, current affairs. This should give you some solid takeaways.
Yeah. And I think it's important to set the scene a bit. India's had some notable defense successes recently. Think about the effective defense against drone attacks we saw not long ago.
Right, that was significant.
It wasn't just a military win, though. It really shone a light on the growing domestic manufacturing capability.
Ah.
And this ties straight into the government's big Make in India push. The strategy is clear. Shift from being a huge importer to becoming self-reliant and even an exporter.
So it's a real turning point then, more than just military stuff.
Exactly. It's a pivotal moment for the economy, too.
Okay, that's crucial. So let's unpack that core idea. For ages, we looked at Indian defense mainly as, national security. Necessary, but maybe not a huge economic driver.
That was the traditional view, yes.
But the Financial Express piece argues it's evolved. It's not just strategic anymore. It's actually becoming a really interesting investment theme.
Definitely attracting attention.
Especially when you look at the global markets, all that volatility with inflation, geopolitics, central banks doing, well, whatever they're doing.
It's a messy picture globally.
Right. And amidst all that, India's defense sector seems to be showing real resilience. Growth, even. It says something about the capacity for innovation there.
And the Make in India effect here is fascinating. It's not just a catchphrase. It's driving real systemic change.
How so, specifically?
Well, think about the policy levers. The government isn't just suggesting local production. It's actively pushing it. They have these indigenization list stuff you just can't import anymore.
Forcing the issue.
Exactly. Plus, dedicated budget chunks for buying Indian-made kit, incentives for private companies to jump in. It's a concerted effort.
Okay.
And that's why we're seeing this bullishness in defense stocks. It's not just hype. It reflects genuine confidence in this long-term policy direction.
That context on Make in India really helps. Okay, so to make this concrete, the Financial Express article zooms in on 3 companies whose recent market action kind of tells this story.
Right. Good examples.
We're talking Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, Paris Defense and Space Technologies, and Idea Forge Technology.
Precisely. Each gives a different window. Should we start with GRSE? Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers?
Yeah, let's do that. Big ships first.
Okay, so GRSE is, well, it's a giant in Indian shipbuilding. It's under the Ministry of Defense, based out in Kolkata.
Right.
Been around for 60 years. They design and build crucial stuff for the Navy advanced warships, patrol vessels, support ships. Absolutely vital for India's maritime security.
A foundational player, then.
Definitely. Now, market-wise, GRSE has been, frankly, quite strong. There was a big run-up, then a bit of a pullback. Healthy, really lets new people in, maybe.
Okay.
But then it just took off again, hit new all-time highs. This kind of pattern, it suggests really strong investor confidence.
People believe in the story.
They believe in the growth prospects tied to the Navy's expansion and this whole Make in India drive for ships. The technical read is that dips are being bought pretty aggressively.
Interesting. So moving from massive ships to something more specialized, Paris Defense and Space Technologies.
Yes, Paris Defense. They're quite different. A niche player in defense and space engineering. Very high-tech.
What sort of tech?
High-precision optics, defense electronics, heavy engineering components, stuff that's critical for self-reliance in advanced systems.
Like satellites, missiles.
Exactly. And what makes them really relevant now is their move into drones and, crucially, anti-drone systems.
Oh, very topical.
Very. It puts them right at the cutting edge of modern defense needs, especially with everyone wanting indigenous tech in these areas.
And the market reflects that.
It seems to. Paris Defense has shown a clear upward trend. This stock consolidated for a while like it was building energy.
Okay.
Then it broke out and continued its rally. It suggests investors were sort of quietly getting in, anticipating growth.
And pullbacks.
Met with buying, confidence seems high, especially given their role in these critical, fast-evolving technologies.
Got it. So it's strategically positioned company. Okay, third one, Idea Forge Technology. Drones. This feels very current.
Absolutely. Drones are central to modern warfare and surveillance. Idea Forge is a real pioneer in India's UAV unmanned aerial vehicle sector.
Who do they supply?
Indian armed forces, police forces, other government agencies. They design and build high-performance drones.
And recent conflicts must have boosted their profile.
Hugely. The focus on indigenous drone capability is intense now, and Idea Forge is seen as a leader in that space, vital for India's defense posture.
And how's the stock looking?
Well, technically it's shown a strong bullish reversal recently. It was in a downward channel for a bit,
Okay.
but then it broke out upwards. And importantly, it started forming higher highs and higher lows. That's a classic sign a new uptrend might be starting.
Any other signals?
Yes, volume. The breakout happened on strong volume. That often suggests institutional investors, the big players, are buying in.
So serious money backing the move.
It suggests the market recognizes their leadership in drones and is positioning for more growth. Corrections are likely seen as buying opportunities.
Okay, so we've got the strategy, the economic angle, these specific company examples. Let's pull it together for the listener. What's the big takeaway here beyond just these stocks?
I think the main point is that India's defense sector isn't just a sideshow anymore. It's not just strategic necessity. It's genuinely become an investment theme with what analysts call structural tailwinds. Meaning these aren't just short-term blips because of, say, current geopolitics. These are deeper, longer-lasting forces at play.
Like the government policies.
Exactly. Sustained government focus on self-reliance, the push for exports, fostering private players. These things are building momentum. It's creating a kind of long-term megatrend.
A megatrend.
Understanding this is pretty crucial if you want to grasp where India's economy and, frankly, its strategic position are heading. It impacts jobs, tech development, overall resilience.
And that loops back perfectly to why this matters for, well, everyone listening, but maybe especially those UPSC aspirants. It's not just about, learning facts for an exam. It's about understanding these big shifts in national development, tech, policy, how they all connect.
Right. It's applied current affairs.
This whole story, defense sector transformation, making India these company successes, it's a fantastic lens for viewing India's evolving capabilities, economics, security, tech innovation, all rolled into one.
Well put.
So just to quickly recap, we've seen India's defense sector shift from just being strategic to also being a major investment story, driven hard by Make in India and proven successes, like defending against drone attacks.
Highlighting that domestic capability.
And this is fueling growth, visible in companies like GRSE and shipbuilding.
Para's defense in high-tech components and drones.
And Idea Forge, leading the charge in UAVs, all moving towards that self-reliance goal.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought to leave people with, something to chew on.
Go for it.
How might India's growing self-reliance in defense actually reshape its geopolitical standing and its economic partnerships globally over, say, the next decade? The ripple effects could be quite significant, well beyond its own borders. Think regional stability, global supply chains, power dynamics.
That is a powerful question. Definitely something to ponder. Well, we hope this deep dive has offered some valuable insights into this really dynamic sector.
Hope so.
If you found this interesting, and we certainly did, please do give this deep dive a like and subscribe to the channel for more analysis like this.
And your comments, your questions, leave them below. We do read them and try to engage.
Absolutely. We love building that community discussion. So until the next time, keep diving deep.